Hello and welcome to Know My Story. Today I have an amazing woman who wants to share her story and she believes that her God is bigger than her science. Habari yako mami?
Nzuri sana.
Kwanza tuambia wewe ni nani na umetoka wapi?
Okay, majina yangu ni Margaret Jerry Mwangi and I live in Kijabi. I work in Kijabi Hospital and I love the Lord as my personal savior and Lord, and a mother of 5 and wife to George Jigona.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming through.
Yeah.
So we want to listen to your story.
Yeah.
And I believe it will inspire someone.
Yeah.
It will be a blessing to someone.
Thank you.
Yeah, tuambie.
Okay, now as I have said that I am Margaret and I work in Kijabi Hospital, and among other things that I do in Kijabi Hospital, I am a volunteer in community awareness on cancer. And my story begins from that point. And because I have been going to various places doing cancer awareness, and after that I also go for home visit to visit the terminally ill patients and their families and counseling them. And I like being with them, giving them hope and also talking to them. And since 2008, I have been doing so. And out of that, I developed an intimate relationship. I have ever been interacting with those people, and I have seen how they have been suffering, the suffering of the patient and the suffering of the whole family at large.
Yeah.
And whenever they are going through such things, and maybe they become short of money and pain, I have ever felt the need to intervene in a way. And now that because I'm music, or I can compose a song, I at one point asked God if he can be able to cure the disease through a song.
Sure.
Because that's all what I have with me. Because in most cases when I am in the hospital and I see doctors treating the patient, and at a point when they say that they have nothing to offer to a patient, they need to go home and maybe wait for their time to die, I feel so bad, because we have a God who is able to do greater than what any kind of medication can do.
Yeah.
And out of that, I felt the need to intervene, and I had said, and I felt that a song is all what I have.
Sure.
So I prayed and fasted to asking God if he can cure disease like cancer through a song. That was back then, 2008. And after some time, I composed a song that is called Kioneki 2030, Knock Cancer Out. And it was an inspiration towards the same, asking God if he can cure the disease.
Yeah.
And after that, I asked God to show me a sign that if he can really do it.
Yeah.
In the course of time, I as I was waiting for the answer, I told God to whatever he will answer to me towards that prayer, it should touch the world.
Sure.
Because cancer, it's a worldwide thing.
Yeah.
And what I have ever wanted with my singing, of which has never been well marketed, and I feel that I better sing only one song which will impact the world than sings volumes and volumes, which is just entertainment.
Yeah.
That is what it's in me. So I felt if only I would sing one song in my life and have a global impact, it would be of greater use than many. So when I was looking forward to that, I told God to give me a sign that he will do it, and that thing must be a worldwide thing.
Yeah.
So when I got pregnant to my twins in 2011, and she is one of the twins, she's called Mary Melody Wanjiro.
Okay.
And with her brother, just Jonathan Jogona, I produced now the song Kioneki 2030, Knock Cancer Out.
Yeah.
I was still waiting for God to answer me through that song.
Yes.
At one point after their birth, when they were 10 months,
Yes.
something unusual happened in my family,
Okay.
of which I was spiritually prepared for the war.
Mhm.
I felt that there was a very great war which was to come on my way, but God had assured a victory over that.
Wow.
So by that time, 2011, 2012, I was working in ICU and in Kijabi Hospital now.
Yeah.
And I know for sure what happens in ICU, that whenever a patient is out from the machine and he's the order from the doctor says that the patient should be out from the machine, the patient always clashes and dies.
Yeah.
But a time came when my baby was very sick. I was called from job. I was at home by my husband, who called me and told me that my son was very sick. I should rush home and with a taxi so that we can take the patient or my son to the hospital.
Yeah.
When I rushed home, I saw that my son was really very sick, 10 months then.
Yeah.
And he was giving the mouth to mouth resuscitation. So he gave me the son, and I still continued to do the same. He was actually to a point of death. But remember, I was spiritually prepared for a war, of which I was assured of victory. So I called the hospital, and they gave me asking for an ambulance, and they actually brought the ambulance immediately. We met along the way, and we went to the hospital.
Yeah.
I knew the condition which my son was in was so bad that he needed an ICU service than the casualty, emergency and accident emergency. I felt this is an urgent issue.
Yeah.
So I went to ICU. On the table, I felt that I better have my son on the ICU table than on the bed of casualty. So I rushed all the way. ICU, it's a bit far from casualty. I rushed all the way to ICU and I put my son on the table, and I had communicated to the nurses and the doctors in ICU that I'm bringing a very sick child. So they immediately came and attended to my son. And after some examination, the doctor realized that my son had some issues with the head. So they recommended that the son should be taken for CT scan in Nairobi. By that time, Kijabi Hospital didn't have a CT scan machine. So the only option was to take the son to Nairobi. So when before we went, and my son was intubated, was put in ICU machine, a mobile ICU machine. They called the neurosurgeon.
Yeah.
By that time, he is a very high-level neurosurgeon. He was called Dr. Ablight, among the world category. He was called to assess the child so that we may proceed to Nairobi. But when the neurosurgeon came in, he said that this child was very sick, such that he could not even go beyond Kemende. Kemende is just at the next shopping center from Kijabi.
Yeah.
And he said that we would rather have an ultrasound done to the child, because the fontanelle was still working. He was at 10 months that time, rather than go to CT scan, which might become even more risk for the child. So the ultrasound was done, and came to a level that the boy had some blood in his head. So after the doctor realized that, he requested that we take the child to theater so that he can be operated on.
Yeah.
That operation is called craniotomy, opening of the whole head, so that they can get the assessment, and I consented for that.
Yeah.
After the operation, which took us, started at around 2:30 in the day, it went up to 9 in the evening, at night. So when the doctor was out from the theater, I asked what he had seen with my child, and he said he found some blood on one side of the brain, and he evacuated or removed the blood. And because he never knew the cause of the bleeding, he had to interfere with or to check the cause of the bleeding. So he told me that he had interfered with much of the brain, such that I should expect that the head of the baby will swell.
Yeah.
And he had removed a portion, a small part of the head, of the skull, and hidden it in the stomach of the baby, so that it can facilitate for the swelling. So after some time, he said that the baby was to be admitted in ICU.
Yeah.
I had no problem. So we were taken to ICU for admission. And on the following day, the head was completely swollen. And the child was there in ICU. That was on a Saturday. The operation was done on Saturday. That was on 6th October 2012. And the following Monday, we were to go for CT scan, which now we were a bit safe to go to CT scan in La Lobby. After the CT scan was done in Germany hospital, it revealed that the brain was completely dead. So the brain of the baby was dead. And remember, as human beings or any other kind of living thing like animals, the brain is the last part of
To die. Yeah.
So having my baby's brain dead, severe death, so it was completely done. The doctor decided to remove the baby from the machine, but before then we were called for spiritually aware
And prepared.
Yeah. So I told the doctor that the boy is not going to die, but the doctor said that the boy must die. I told him the boy must live, and we continued exchanging must not and must will not. So after all, the doctor felt that I was like
in denial.
I was in denial. And at one point, he told me that, Margaret, you are in denial. And the pastor said, he was called Pastor Mogo, he said that he addressed the doctor and told him, denial, he said, Dr. Albright, denial, it's a medical term, but that is what we call faith in Christianity.
Yeah.
So he felt that he was rated according to his education, and he went away to the ICU nursing station and told him, I think Margaret's head, it's not well. I think he's not somehow.
Yeah.
We should give her an opportunity to be checked, as he looks like he's mad.
Yeah.
He told them, have you ever noticed that he has some mental issues? But they said, no, we have never experienced, but you should know you are experiencing with a very powerful woman. So he said, no matter how much spiritual he is, that boy must die. Okay, it depends with the education, but I was depending on the power of God. Okay, after some time, he told me that, but it looks like the status of the boy in the ward or in the machine and the CT scan, the boy looks better than the results.
Yes.
Yes, the CT scan says that the brain is dead, but the boy looks better than the results. So I told God, this is the starting of the victory.
Sure.
So after we stayed there, that was on date 8. On date 9, October, we were called again for a family conference saying the same. And at one point I was kind of angry on the many times my husband was to be called in and called again and again to be told that the boy is going to die.
Yes.
And I told them, don't call my husband again.
Yes.
Let him go and take care of the other children. But whatever you need to talk to us, just tell me. I will handle. Then I'll be able to tell my husband what he can be able to handle. Don't call him anymore. Anything I'll be able to handle. So from that time, they never called my husband. So they were used to telling me all the communication. And on the morning of date 9, the hospital decided not just to remove my child from the machine because I'm a staff.
Yes.
And I am not really willing to let my child just die. So the medical director, spiritual director, all those directors that are in the hospital were called in the room that I was admitted with the other child, now the Melody.
Yeah.
And they came and tried to convince me of the status of the child and the way that the child will die. But I told them, I'm not against the medical ideas concerning the status of the boy.
Yeah.
But the fact remains that the boy is not going to die. That's it. And I'm giving you the concept, go remove the boy from the ICU machine, but you will tell me what you will get there.
Yeah.
So they felt that what are they expecting to get from the room? He was in ICU 1. In ICU in Kijabi we have 5 beds. But ICU 1 is somehow separate from the rest. It's by its own. So he was there. And they prayed, and I released them and told them, remove him from the machine, but don't deny him any other service that he needs apart from the machine.
Yeah.
So they went and removed the baby from the machine after prayers, and after everything was done, something unusual happened in that room.
Wow.
A strong wind came in the ICU 1, and like a flash of lightning came in, and they all ran away because the readings of the boy were better than when he was in the machine.
Wow.
So they could not withstand that. They all ran away to the other wards, calling everybody to come and see what has happened.
Yeah.
So they went to Wairegi ward. It's called Wairegi, the male ward. The female ward is called Salome pediatric ward. And many people came in to see what was happening. Many people knew that my child was in a bad state. And they tried to convince me, and they told me that I'm trying to fight with a professor. But I used to tell them, he is a professor. You are talking about professors. I'm talking about the professor of the professors.
Wow.
So I know my God is greater than them all. So after that, my baby recovered from the state of being seen as if he is going to die, and he actually became better than how he was. So after that, they told me that he is going to be in ICU for one more day, one more night to be observed. And on the following day, that was the Mashujaa day, that date 10, he's going to be taken to the general ward. By that time, Kijabi still had no HDU, which is a step down from ICU. The patient was just coming from ICU to the general ward.
Yeah.
So we were to be taken to the general ward after observation. On the 10th, that's where we were taken. But they say that my child is not going to cry, he's not going to be able to see, he's not going to move anywhere or make any movement, even he will not be able to recognize if she is hungry or not.
Yeah.
I told him that is according to books, but according to God, he's going to do all these things.
Sure.
So they had just to observe. When we went down there, you remember in ICU you are not supposed to handle your child, or you just watch him from the bed. But when we were taken down there, the nurse who took me there told me that, Margaret, hold the baby so that I can be able to arrange the beddings for you. So when my baby came to me, he started crying.
Wow.
He started crying and looking for the breast to suck. And he said, no, the doctor said that you should not give him to suck, so that he just died peacefully. They called the neurosurgeon to ask him if I can be allowed to let him suck. And he said, no, until I come. When he came, the child persisted. There is a long story there, but finally he was on oxygen, and after some measurement, some investigation, they felt that there is no need of oxygen. He had NG tubing for feeding. They felt that there is no need for NG tubing, and he was removed of everything. But remember, the head was still very swollen, very swollen. He could not stand. The neck could not stand the weight of the head. So I used to hold him over the night, seated on the bed the whole night. I used to support myself with blankets and was sitting up the whole night. And I felt that was too much for me, and the brain is dead. So I used to tell them that I need this brain out of my baby, because I need the head back to normal. Because at the end of the day, he's not using the brain. He's not using the brain. So one morning, as I was used to holding him like this at night, I in the morning we were stuck together because the brain is like pass. So I tried to remove him. He could not move because the pass was like dry.
Sticky.
It was sticky.
Yes.
And I called them. I told them, I thank God because this thing is now out. My baby is going now to be able to sleep in a normal way. When the doctor came, he felt that this is too much for them. They said that they needed a plastic surgeon to deal with the case. So when the plastic surgeon came,
what was the case?
The case now, the issue of the wood. Now because the wood was exposed, had busted, and
the head had busted.
The head had busted and given way to the brain. So the brain had poured.
All the brain was poured.
The brain had poured.
Wow.
So they felt this is so strange to them, and they could not handle that. So they called the neurosurgeon. The neurosurgeons came in, and now the plastic surgeons came in to deal with the wound, because the neurosurgeons deal with the head itself and the brain.
Yes.
So they needed some impact from the plastic surgeon. When the plastic surgeons came in, they suggested, now that the wound was so bad, it was so bad, I think it can be seen here. I don't know if it can be seen from this book. I have written this book, and the whole story is in this book. The wound was so bad, such that they needed some help.
Yes.
So when the doctor came in, he told me that he is going to do a procedure called flap. Flap involves cutting the whole part which was not affected, and like transplant the skin to the other side.
So the child would have two wounds.
So that the child would have two wounds. I told the doctor, no, you will not do that to my baby. But he told me, Margaret, in plastic surgery, there is no minor surgery. It's only major surgery. But I told him, not to my baby. But after some times, I remembered that I was assured for victory. Why should I fight with the doctor? I told him, bring the consent. I will sign right now. So they asked for the consent. I signed, and they were okay. They said they planned for the operation of the flap. But inside me, I knew they will not do that flap. I told him this thing required only debridement. Debridement, it involves just cleaning the wood in theater and just closing it. Closing or cleaning and closing. But so when the doctors went away, I summoned my two children. Remember now they were almost turning 11 months.
Wow.
11 months by that time. So I told them, I agreed to consent for your surgery just to allow to release the doctors.
Yes.
But otherwise you are not going to have it.
You're talking to the child.
I'm talking to both children, the twins now. So what we are going to do with you, we are going to make an agreement that no flap on your head, no flap. So you, me, we sign here. So I signed. I took the hands of both of them, each at his own time. We agreed that no flap, no flap, only debridement. I felt that we were not enough. I felt that we needed more people to hear about this. So it's like I agree with the doctor. Somehow I was mad because I counted everything that was in the room, including the tiles. single tiles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
The table, the bed sheets, the blankets, the drawer, everything. And it added up to 105.
Wow.
So I told them not to flap in the hearing of 105 people. I just considered them as people. So, and we agreed on that. And when the day of the flap came, the day of operation came, I even during that time, I told Jonathan, Jonathan, now remember you are the ambassador.
Yes.
You are the one who is going to get him in theater. We are going to be crossed out. So, Dr. Dumba is the one who is speaking Kikamba. And he is tall. I
Demonstrated.
and tried to describe the doctor to him. So anybody else apart from the one I have described to you, it's not the plastic surgeon, and he is not the one who is taking the knife to operate on you.
Yeah.
So when you get there, told Dr. Dumba no to flap.
Yes.
Remember, no. So I was addressing the child. Now the interesting thing came when the day came. He was taken to theater. I took him to theater.
Yes.
And the person who was to receive him, he was as tall as the doctor. So as he was coming, I told Jonathan, he's the one who is taking you to theater, but he's not the doctor. He's just the anesthesia. He's the one who is to give you the medicine for making you asleep. But he's not the doctor.
Yeah.
So I remember to tell the doctor what I told you. You are my ambassador. See you. And he went with the anesthetist. When they went there, and he was put on the operation table and prayed and fixed to the machine and all this, Dr. Dumba came in. And remember, I'm using the exact names now, but in the books, I have used different names, but reflecting the same because of ethical issues with lightings. So when he was taken to the table and the flap pack was blocked, the doctor every time has to pray in Kijabi, has to be prayed for. And the other thing is to confirm if the patient that they are with is the one whom they are expecting.
Yes.
So he asked the team, who is the patient that we are having on the table? They told him it's just Jonathan Jogona. And what are we expecting to do to him? Flap. And he said, flap? Flap? You mean flap to Jonathan? Do I know really how to do flap? Remember, he's the surgeon. Do I really know how to do flap? Okay, you said, he repeated. Who is on the table?
Jonathan.
Just Jonathan. What are we expecting to do to Jonathan? Flap. I don't think so. By that time, the neurosurgeon, one of the neurosurgeons was on the door. And he was like trying to see the reaction of the other doctor when he sees the case.
Yes.
Remember, the brain was fully drained, and the
head had no brain.
Had nothing, and they had not told him that the brain was off. So he was coming to see the reaction. So when he tried to look inside the brain, he saw that there was nothing, and he told the neurosurgeon. He was Dr. Okech. Dr. Okech, what is this that you have given me? He told him, you are the doctor in charge now. Tell us what you are seeing, not us. He is your patient. But I can't see no brain. There is no brain. Okay, continue telling us more about what you are seeing. It's you on the table. So after some discussion, the doctor said that he will not do flap. The flap pack should be removed and the debridement pack to be blocked. That's when the mind of the doctor opened. Now he craned. He later told me that the head, inside the head, that vacuum, it was without anything. So he took some pipe washed the whole portion or the whole part, drained it, and closed it.
Wow.
Without leaving anything. And he, after some like 30 minutes, the child was brought back to the ward. When I heard that the child has been brought to the ward, I realized that no flap has been done because flap takes more than 6 hours. Now it was only 30 minutes. So I realized that it is debridement which has been done. And I thanked God. I took my child, and I thank God because he had done as we had agreed. I thank Jonathan for being a good ambassador. So from that time, Jonathan has not been having anything in his head.
No brain.
No brain.
Wow.
No brain. That was October 2012.
10 years down.
Almost 10 years down the line without brain. But along the way, you know, now there was the medical team, the neuro team, and the plastic team taking care of the same boy. So at one point when the doctors were going loud, I knew the victory, and I was feeling good as things were being revealed every other day. So I took hold of the greater neurosurgeon. I had asked him, Dr. Albright, you have been with this boy from the first day. You are the one who removed him his clothes, his home clothes. Can you tell me, where have we come from? Where are we, and where are we heading to?
Yes.
He told me so categorically, Mama Jonathan, I have no idea what is happening, neither anybody on earth. He said, neither anybody on earth. This has really defeated human science.
Wow.
Nobody has ever seen such a thing and survived. He tried to imagine or to make a similarity with one child that he had ever heard of in America. That child, he said that child was a girl, and the mother of the child and the house help had some disagreement. And the house girl used to shake the head of the child, to shake the head, and the brain was like, it was like mixed up. But the brain was there. And finally that girl died. And he was asking, if that girl died, what about this one? He said we used to say it must die. She must die. But that time he said that nobody on earth has an idea about what is happening here. He had tried to consult many places, many countries, many neurosurgeons in the world, trying to gather information and idea concerning the status of the boy, but no one had an idea. The only idea that they had, they were saying that now the neurosurgeons across the world, if the boy's brain was partially sick or having problem, but the other portion was okay, they could have stretched the remaining to cover the other portion. But now nothing was there. So he felt that this is something very strange. It has defeated any book in the world. Had no idea. So after that, I took hold of the other doctor, the other neurosurgeon, and asked him, Dr. Okech, what about you? What can you say? He told me, if the professor is unable, what about me? I cannot be able. I don't know, I have no idea. So at the end of the day, we were discharged from the hospital when after an admission of 3 months, having to undergo all these procedures and many drugs administrations, we were discharged when we at 3 months. But the doctor recommended that when the child will be 3 years, remember he was almost 11, almost 1 year now, he got his birthday. It was done in the hospital with doctors, allowed him, baked him a cake, and we celebrated in the hospital. But they recommended after 3 years, and CT scan should be repeated so that we can see the progress, what is going on in the head. And really in 2015, a CT scan was done, which revealed that the head has been filled with water, only water, which is in the head. But when I brought the results to the doctors, I told them that my real father has been so much concerned about the bone. Remember, there was a bone which was hidden from the first day.
Yes.
In the stomach. So my father was saying that bone should be taken back to where it was removed from. And he said that they should do it actually quickly. But when I told the doctor to remove the portion of the bone was removed, was still free, and there is water, and the water is not pouring. It's not pouring to the skin or to any place, of which if it was like normal issues, the water should have drained to the skin, to the inner part of the skin, and filled the head again, and swollen again, and all this. So they were scared and told me, we cannot touch this boy. If you can have water and bend it and it's not pouring, what kind of water is that? We have no idea. So we cannot touch this boy, operate on him again, and we don't know where this water is coming from, and it measured itself and it's not pouring. We cannot do it. So up to now, this portion of the bone is still in my boy's stomach.
Wow.
No one has ever removed it, and up to now is only water, which is in the space of the brain. So remember what God was answering me from the core of this story. I asked God if he can really cure cancer from a song. Do you remember? That is where we have come from. So after all this victory, I told God, really, God, you have really worked for this boy. And the world has come to realize that there is another God who is able to do greater things. And the doctors have been defeated. And your power has been revealed. But I have asked the doctors severally if the boy was suffering from cancer, and they have nothing to do with cancer. The boy had nothing to do with cancer. So I had another prayer, now reveal to me what it is now that you have been doing in answer to my prayer. And in 2015, September, that's when God led me to the book of Ephesians 3, verses 20 to 21. The Bible says that, now to him who is able to do exceedingly, abundantly, up and above what we can pray, think, or imagine, according to the power which is at work within us, to him be the glory forever and ever. Amen. So that was the answer to my prayer, that God cannot only heal cancer through a song, he can do even more than that. So that was it. Now the question from that point started. I started another question. When will this happen? Now you have stated that you can do greater than what you can pray, think, or imagine. But when will this happen? Now that has been my prayer. But God reminded me, and after some prayers, God showed me that it will happen at a particular point in life. And this will be during the reign of Uhuru and Ruto in Kenya. Now, I have been waiting for a platform. And as I have waiting, something strikes the whole country and the whole world at large. Corona came in. And when Corona came in, God reminded me, this is the time.
Wow.
This is the time for me to reveal myself as God above cancer and everything. So I have been asking God, now give me the platform to say that I don't know, I have no idea, but what I know, it will happen.
Yeah.
So as per me, this is what I want to say. If God is able to help or to make somebody survive without brain, many years down the line, what is corona to God? It's like nothing. So what I have been looking forward to, it's a platform to help this song be prayed in the air. How it will cure corona and cancer, I have no idea. How I don't know, but one thing I know, if this song has access in the air, it will completely bring cure to corona and cancer. How? Don't ask
know.
me. But if it will do, it will, and it must do it, if only given a chance. So I have been asking God as time for Uhuru and Ruto is coming to an end. Now, God, you have not given me a space. You have not given me a platform for a song to be prayed. And now the time is running short. When will it happen? How will I get to this? Me, how I get Rizzy, I don't know. It was out from a friend, and I haven't seen Riz from my birth. It is today.
Yeah.
So I consider this as an answered prayer. God will do it. Given time, given space, this song will cure corona and cancer.
Okay.
So this is my intention, and this has been my prayer, that I better sing one song which will bring impact in the world than sing many just for popularity.
Yeah.
So
Thank you. How can we get your songs?
I have my songs, I have them, and I have them. I have the CD, I have the book which has the whole story, so I have them with me.
What about a YouTube page, a social media page? How can we get you?
Well, I remember sometimes back I had some taken it to the YouTube, but I'm trying to search for it nowadays. I can't see it.
Tutatafuta ingine.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for having me. We are so grateful for you coming. So we will leave the details of the book on our description box. My name is Rish, the vocalist. Thank you for viewing.